GawdsCast here on a Tuesday. Obviously, it's a little bit different than we had hoped, man. Talking about a week where fantasy championships have been ended, but obviously, you as a Bills fan, Dan, you were watching the game last night, and some other things obviously took top of mind, man. What were your thoughts on the game last night? And obviously, prayers up to Damar Hamlin and his family and everything, man. Talk a little bit about your experience with that, just because as a not even just as a Bills fan, as a person, bro. Like that shit affected a lot of people, man.
Yeah, it did. It's not just. I mean, obviously for me, I never want to see any of my guys get injured, hurt, potential life-threatening
Yeah.
situations, and shout outs to the Bills organization, shout outs to the Bengals, shout outs to the medical staff that was there. Just to throw it out there, I mean, of all the places to have this type of thing happen to a person, it's kind of good that it happened there because you have state of the art medical, first responders. They have all the protocols that they need. So I mean, he had the best situation to get back to 100%. That's the goal for him, and I'm praying to God that he gets out of this and he's 100% healthy and he can return to the field. I don't know if he will return to the football field.
Yeah.
This may be the last snap that we ever see. And I wouldn't hate that. I mean, at the end of the day, like life is more important than the game. Like we all are human beings first,
Yep.
and professionals second. So to me, it's like I wouldn't hate the guy if he said, you know what, I'm walking away. Like that was the last draw. Also, shout outs to T. Higgins. I know there are probably people that are bashing
Man.
him, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, he just made his own football move. It didn't look any weird or any different than a normal, pitch and catch. So I don't blame T. Higgins for it as a Bills fan. I don't blame him. And shout outs to Mixon. He was right there and he pointed
Yeah.
and he was trying to get attention. He was like one of the first person that I saw like actually like yo, hey, check it out, like identify this situation. So I'm happy to see that, and it's just unfortunate. All we care about really is his health. Um, and I'm praying that he gets better.
Yeah, it was just one of those unfortunate circumstances, man. And I think it was easy for everybody to kind of chime in after the fact, but I'm glad the community like really supported him, and supported the fact that this game didn't need to be played. You see a lot of the comments that come out, said fantasy doesn't matter, betting doesn't matter. Like that's at the end of the day, like we talked about, like we have our group chat, me, you, and Clay, and it's like the game don't fucking matter. Like fuck the game. At this point, it's like we want to see him get healthy. We want to see him be okay, man. And to see, we've never seen nothing like that where a guy's been on the field for that long, having to have his parents go to the hospital with him in the middle of a game. Like it's just scary shit, bro. So you and I both have kids. We talk to a lot of people here. We talk a lot of shit on the fantasy gods, but people don't always get to see this side of us, bro. And it's like at the end of the day, we human beings, we're people, and that comes first. Like we both have played sports, competitive. Both of us are competitive, and at the end of the day, it's bigger than that. So there has been a minor update with him. Obviously, the cardiac arrest news came out earlier, but his uncle on Twitter said that he is breathing. He has 50% oxygen now instead of needing 100%. So some positive news there. But yes, it's. We're looking for any type of positive updates and vibes, man. We need it. There's a lot of people on right now here on the TikTok channel. Very encouraging words from his uncle tonight. What a great family and NFL community. Absolutely. You didn't know you let me be on here late. The GawdsCast every Tuesday night, man. Already he's breathing 50%. This could be a positive thing. Absolutely, it is a very positive thing from what I've read. Neither of us are doctors, and we are not NFL doctors. We don't claim to be. We are the fantasy gods, so we are going to talk about fantasy. Whatever news is out there, we will provide, but if we're not going to speculate on this because it ain't our business.
Yeah,
What's good, my man
I
Kyrie?
mean,
What's
like
good? Said shout out to
positive
T
news is
Higgins
better
playing
than any.
hard. It ain't his fault. Scariest thing I've ever seen watching sports.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, this was a really hyped up Monday night game. I had a lot of implications moving forward, and to go through this, not only as a Bills fan but as a fan of just the NFL and players, it's sad, and it's distraught. F the game. Like, who cares? I honestly don't think the game should be played again because I don't think it's going to be hard for players to play this Sunday. Let's just keep it. Let's keep it 100. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how the Bills play the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like and maybe the Bengals can tough it out, but I don't know if the Bills can play the Patriots this week.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. I mean, I just don't see it unless he makes 100% recovery where he's sent back home. He's out of the hospital. That's the only way that I can see the Bills. Like, I mean, I just look at it from my standpoint. If I was at work and I see a guy
Yeah.
drop and we have to rush CPR, ambulance, this guy. I mean, I don't know if I can go back to work.
It's
Like, let
traumatic,
alone
bro. It's like it's
these guys
traumatic shit
at
seeing that.
the highest level of a professional sport. I just don't see how they can do it.
Yeah, and obviously we got to see what happens with the games this week. We got to see what happens not just with the Bills overall in general. There's going to be a lot of emotion, I think, from players this week, man, because it's not. You saw the community, went to bat for him on Twitter, man, and just in general, because I mean, I think these players know, it could be anybody. You know what I mean? At any given point in time, you have to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That could be you on the football field. These players know that, and so, I think they'll go get back to work. But it's tough when you see somebody, one of your colleagues, just somebody in your field that goes through that, man. Then players are probably, there's probably some players who are taking it, it went one day out the other. They're worried about them, but they're going to be able to move on. There's a lot of other players out there who it's going to sit wrong with, and they're looking at it like, man, they're giving their bodies up on the line. So a couple questions came in. Say, what do we do with fantasy, though? Dan, we could talk about fantasy. Obviously, it's really not that important, but at the end of the day, my recommendation personally, and I want to get your take on this too, Dan. My personal recommendation is just whatever the platform says, roll with that. If Yahoo says they're going to play it out to week 18, roll with that on Yahoo. If ESPN says they're going to count the stats, roll with that. If Sleeper says it's over for the season, roll with that. And then if everybody in your league disagrees, you guys put it up to a league vote. As if you're a commissioner of your league, I don't think you need to take that, shoulder that entire thing. You need to put that to a league vote if everybody disagrees with the platform. Are you with me on that, or how you feeling?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. 50% of that. The other half is just more or less. I have other ideas. So to me, I think that there's a couple options. The options you can provide. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just, yeah. Number one, I agree with you. Hey, run with the platform, whatever the platform is stating, because that's kind of the ultimate commissioner in a sense. Like,
Yeah.
if you are the commissioner or you're a league mate, like, hey, just accept the fact that, hey, Yahoo decided this, Sleeper decided this, ESPN decided this, and we'll just roll with it. The other thing that you could do is, hey, as it stands, that's the final score. And you just take either the win or you take the L.
Yeah.
The other option would be, hey, if they decide that they want to replay the game, you just hold it until they replay the game, finish out that game, and be done with it. I've also seen other people say, hey, let's play week 18. So whatever the score was in week 17, we'll just trade it over to week 18. And then, so if you had like a 10-point lead, okay, well, you have a 10-point advantage going into week 18 and just run week 18 as it is. So there's a lot of different ideas. Personally, I'm just ready for fantasy to be over with. I'm done with it. It's just kind of it's this horrible ending to the fantasy season. But I'm ready to move past it. I'm not even thinking about fantasy at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of, to be real, like we've been doing fantasy all year, and it's the week we were kind of ready for this week to end, and here it is. So one of the comments came in, said there's a team meeting. They're not even talking about any game this weekend. I don't blame them. What did our league do? For the Fantasy Gods League, I had the lead. It was a big enough lead to where there really was no argument from either side. I took home the Fantasy Gods League, but like I said, I didn't even post about it. It kind of took a lot of backseat to what's going on right now. So I'm sure we'll talk about it later. I'll post about it at some point. But for now, we just let the rules play as they are right now. Nothing has happened officially with Yahoo, but the other guy conceded already. So I think it should be whatever the platforms decide should stand. I like that. Fantasy football is more important to me than the guy from the Bills game. His health doesn't affect my life whatsoever. Reyes, that's just a selfish point of view, though. Like, that's fine. You can have that opinion, but it's pretty selfish. Like, fantasy football is not more important than that guy's life. Just being real. So you can say that if you want, but there's no life that fantasy football is more important than.
Right.
Just being real. Like, that's a pretty shitty take. Yeah, that's pretty shitty to say.
That's how you feel.
Yeah, that's if you feel like fantasy football is more important than somebody's life, that's just shitty. Like, you can unfollow us for that. What about championship split? I've seen that idea thrown around. What do you think about that, Dan? Like a split for the
I think
championship?
if it's close, if
Some
it's
fucked up
close,
people in this world, dude.
yeah, dude,
God.
I'm over that guy. But
Yeah.
if it's close, I don't mind co-champions this year. I mean, I could see that. It's tough because like you just want to finish it out. Like you played all year. I could see more people chopping the pot and then just going with hey whoever was leading at the time. There's tons of options. It's going to be to me it's based on situation as far as like one league I was in, I was up by 30 points and I had a kicker going. But like the kicker made no relevance to me winning or losing. He's not going to miss 32 field goals
Right.
one game. So like we already knew that I was going to win no matter what. Like I don't need McPherson to play to win the game. So to me it's at the end of the day, it depends on your story. Now, to me, like I said, if you're under like 20 points in that range and you had a player going, that's tough. I would probably just chop the pot when it comes to money. Just chop
Yeah.
the pot when it comes to money, and then probably give the title to the person with the lead. And I think that's the most fair, like that you could do. It's like, all right, you won,
Yeah.
but the money's chopped, and it's fair for both sides.
Yeah, especially if it's a toss up. So I mean, the money aspect to me, it's like I think if you guys can come to some agreement, some payout, I feel like it needs to be decided between the league and everybody needs to agree. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it shouldn't be something where you guys are debating and fighting over it. At most it's a couple $100. So to me, it's not really worth all that, but for some people it is, and I understand that. What is Yahoo doing? Haven't seen the announcements. They're waiting until they get official confirmation as to what the future of the Bills Bengals game is, if it's postponed or if it's canceled or tied or whatever. I think they're awaiting the NFL's result. And whoever said that your life don't matter to us, so take a walk. Yeah, exactly. Sleeper fantasy already wrapped up the scores. Exactly. Reyes, I don't know if you're trolling right now or if you're really trying to prove a point, but you could just hop off this convo, bro. If that's how you're viewing this, like, I don't think we need to talk no more.
So you can
Yeah, he could go. He could go. I was down 15. I was down 15. Let's see. And had Diggs. That's why I was wondering on the split. Yeah, if you're down 15 with Diggs, like, you got to just talk to your league, man, because you had a chance. And so, I would just personally go with the reason why is so a lot of people, obviously I said I would just go with what the ruling was. There's injuries that happen in games, right? I know this is far from an injury. This is far from that. But there's things that happen in games to where your player doesn't finish out the game, and a lot of times we still got to go with that ruling. So it's a little insensitive to say it that way. But at the same time, I think like we've had circumstances before where a player did not finish the game. And I know this is a way different impact. But there's shit that just happens that's outside of the scope for us as fantasy players. There's just things that are out of our control. And I think that this ruling or whatever happens with this game is one of them. So that's kind of why I'm saying go with the platforms. And that's my opinion on that. I was down 40, but I had Josh Allen. I think, to be completely honest, I think the game should be canceled. Just leave it as a draw. So yeah, there's a lot of conflicting opinions on this. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's why I think you try to just take it out of your own individual opinions and let the platform kind of do its thing. Just my personal opinion. Did you end up winning, my guy? Yeah, I won the Fantasy Gods League. You guys will see a post or something about it later, but I didn't think it was in good. I didn't think it was the right thing to do to talk about it. I wasn't really interested in talking about it today, to be real. I haven't. Me and Dan, we have a whole group line. I haven't even brought it up in the last since yesterday. What is ESPN going to do?
We want to talk about at this point. Like,
yeah,
winning or losing is irrelevant to us at this point. We really just care about the players.
Yeah. ESPN, what is ESPN going to do? Who knows? We don't know what ESPN is going to do. We are not part of the ESPN community, so they're going to have to make that decision. Our league won't officially count the ring if the game isn't played. Championship teams will split the cash. Hey.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas out there. You just got to figure out what's the best idea for you guys. Like I said, if it's something to where like we already know the winner, like it's pretty much 99.9999% chance that you're gonna win. then you just call it. Like it could be over. There's no reason to even play it out the game. And to be honest, there's a lot of chances that this game is probably not even played.
Yeah.
This game is probably going to end up probably a tie. That's how I look at it. Like both teams will just forfeit the game to a tie, and I can just see that happening. I don't know if it's going to happen. I just don't see it. Like why they would even play the game, why they would move things back. The only thing I could see is you cancel the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And then you have a week 19 with just the Bills and the Bengals, but again, that's unfair to every other team that maybe gets a bye in week 19. And then if you're the first seed, you get 2 byes. So I mean, it's on the other side because it's probably going to be Kansas City that would if they ended up Bills lose or Bengals win, whatever the case may be. But it's a bad move either way. Like it's a decision to make. No one's
lose, and it really doesn't. I mean, there's going to be somebody that's not happy with the decision. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's fantasy football. It's a game. Like when people get through their head, that's going to be. Like that's the win. It's like realize it really does not matter. We are playing a game based on other people playing a game with their bodies, man. So this is real life for them. This is minor in the scope of everything. If you lost a couple $100 because of this decision, it's really not that big of a deal. Like your life will go on. His life is the most important. There's so many more fantasy leagues you're gonna play in. Like, it's not that serious, man.
And we'll help you win money next year.
Max, are you in here? Are you in here to troll? Or are you in here to talk? Like for real, be real. Like you said, Justin, what's good, my man? How you doing? Are you in here to troll? Or are you in here to be real? Because just be real with me, dog. Are you in here to troll? Or are you in here to be real? I'm not really in troll mode right now. So if you're in here to troll, you could do it. But if you got something to say and it's positive, man, drop it. Frankie Fingers, appreciate all your insight and feedback throughout the year, my guy. Let's get it. The only thing to do, honestly, is call the rest of the season or go straight to the playoffs. It's tough, man, for the NFL. Like, they're going to have a hard decision to make. It's a business at the end of the day. So I get it. It's tough to just cancel tickets, cancel the season. And there's going to be a business aspect that the NFL always operates on. So it'll be tough to just say that, they got to cancel the season, playoff implications. There's a lot to think about in a situation that's really unprecedented. So,
I could just, like I said, I think the easiest thing to do is just call it a tie and just move on and just keep the schedule as it is, move forward. I know that's horrible for, like I said, I'm saying it as a Bills fan. Like, we're going to lose the number 1 pick because I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs, or the number 1 seed, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs losing the next game, and they'll play to make sure that they win. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts in that case. But I think that's probably the best route. So that way the schedule just everything stays the same. There's no one feels, bamboozled.
Yeah.
I would just call it as a tie and just move forward.
Yeah, I feel for DeMar, full sympathy. Just bites to be 12-3 and lose this way with Josh Allen. It happens, bro. It's this is part of life, man. It's not always scripted as we think. Jahan, what's up, brother? What's good? It's our money, though. That means something. That means we don't have sympathy for what happens. If that's how you feel, if the dollar is worth more than somebody else on the field in their life, then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. Is co-champion a stupid idea? I don't think so. Let's see. At the same time, if it's worth a lot of money, though, yes, it does not matter. Like, you guys got to remember, like,
just chop it. If it's too much money, chop it. If we're arguing about a couple $100, like, you guys have problems to me. Like, that's too much. Like,
it is not that serious,
the
bro.
difference between first place is $2,000. Then okay, maybe. But to me, at that point, just chop it. Chop the money.
Chop the money, bro. Like, it's really not that serious, man. It's not. You could take the L. If you take the L, guess what? You're not winning that money anyway. It shouldn't be money, like, no matter what. So chop the money. It's really not that serious, man. I don't think you can call it a tie. I think NFL rules will make Bengals win. We can't speculate on that. We're fantasy gods. We ain't the NFL rules makers. Let's see. Yeah. So that's, at the end of the day in our league, we care more about the ring. So we're not dealing with the ring, just chopping money. That sounds like a good solution. Thoughts on awarding the teams, their players, their average points? Like I said, I'm all for whatever the league agrees with. So if you have a league that really cares about the standings and the finish, you guys need to take a vote. That would be, you know what I mean? Like you got to take a vote. And so yeah, if I could be feeling one way about this 100%. I could be feeling like, hey, I think you should go by the Yahoo rules. But Dan, I'm not saying you feel this way, but Dan could be like, no, we got to play it through to week 18. That's what a vote is for. That's why you have a league. And so the people you play with, if they all feel a certain way, you're going to have your league rules. We're going to have our league rules. Like everybody's going to be different. So yes, that doesn't mean we don't care about what happened. That's fine. You guys have to determine that. There shouldn't be a set standard for this. It should be with who you guys play with. And at the end of the day, you guys are going to have to make that decision.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it shouldn't come down to just the commissioner making a decision. I think at this one, because it's so extreme, it's something that, we haven't seen this. I mean, we haven't. I mean, we've been playing a long time, Justin, and we haven't seen this really ever. I mean, this is the weirdest, saddest, and I'm hoping, like we said, we value life over dollars. Who cares about the money? But you gotta have to just let the league decide what they want to do. People that are out of it, and I think it's just let the league decide and see what happens. We can just give you the ideas. That's all. We've done this for 20 plus years. We've been commissioners. We've been players. We have ideas for you to capitalize on. Hopefully, one of our ideas is something that you guys can agree on and move from that. That's all we can give you as analysts.
Yeah. $1,000 entry, winner take all, 10,000 at stake. That's at stake. You guys got to deal with it. The best thing to do would be to split it, 5,000 each, right, for first and second. Why wouldn't you do that? Because there was somebody that was going to lose anyway. There was somebody that was going to get 0. Somebody was going to get 10. Both get 5. You guys are good. I don't know. That shouldn't even be a 10K winner take all. Shouldn't even be a contest. Split it. If it's close, split it.
Split it.
Yeah, if it's that important to decide, track those players' score next week and add your current total. Exactly. So whoever, you guys got to make a decision with your league. I'm up 61 with Chase. Exactly. Like, come on, bro. Like it's not even close.
Like you're game over.
So, yeah, it's if you guys want to continue to talk solutions, we can try to talk the solutions out. But we did have, the season was kind of strange, and like you said, Dan, I'm kind of glad that this season is over. It's been a weird season overall in general, but. It's been a long season too. That extra week, man, it's done. We haven't really seen nothing like this since coronavirus shut down the NBA fantasy basketball, shut down the NBA season and like the playoffs too. So it's kind of weird to deal with. And unfortunately, me and Dan are not going to have the answers here. The fantasy gods are not going to have the answers as to how to solve your league 100%. It's going to come down to you guys and how you guys decide to handle that situation. So for Dan and myself. We're letting things play out in our leagues the way that they should, and you guys got to do the same thing. But there's bigger playing fantasy for this long, being alive for this long, having kids. There's a lot more to life than fantasy football, or even say your league was $10,000. There's a lot more to life than 10K. Just being real.
Yeah, 10K is not even that much money.
Yeah, it might seem like a lot to a lot of people, but life is bigger than 10K, man. Will the Bills ever play the Bengals? We don't know if that game's ever going to get played or not. Up for talking about what teams will check out their players for Week 18 because of playoffs. Yeah, that's still, to be honest, now that is in. There's still some of that remains to be seen. Like, are the Chiefs going to play their guys? There's still a lot that has to unfold from that. So unfortunately, I don't really know. Like, I could tell you one thing, it would be speculation. But Dan, you got any insight on the standings or who you think's playing? I mean, outside of obviously like Titans, Jags, those guys are playing. Lions, Packers, those guys are playing. But do you have any insight, or you want to have any insight on that for now?
I guess to me it was the implications of the Bills and the Bengals. That would have been if it just depends. Like it's so tough. It's hard. It's hard to really think about like who could play, who's not going to play. Obviously, the Eagles are only one game behind the Cowboys at this point. I feel like they have to play for that number 1 seed. I think Jalen Hurts is supposed to come back this upcoming Sunday. So to me, like you almost have to play. I think the Cowboys will play all their guys. The Niners are 12-4. They're going to play all their guys. So I think I don't really see. I mean, the Vikings 12-4 still have an opportunity at the number 1 seed. So to me, it's almost like everyone should be playing at this point in time, especially if they have an opportunity for the number 1 seed. The Bengals, the Bills, the Chiefs, all the top teams, which really have all the fantasy players that most people have for their championship weeks, if they decided that week 18 is their championship week, I really don't see how these teams can't are going to sit their studs.
Facts. Facts. A couple things that came in about to dip. Thanks so much. What really matters at the end of the day is DeMar pulling through. 100%, dog. Appreciate that comment. 100%. You're right on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take each player's average for the season, and then they get that many points. I guess that'd be where points come in. That's like I said, that's totally up to you guys. I'm all for situations that the mass approve of. Like if your league is everybody's content with it in the league, I feel like that's the most important thing. And if you're in a league, put it this way. If you're in a league that can't come to a good agreement, you're in the wrong fucking league. If you guys all can't agree similarly on something, some solution that makes everybody at least somewhat content, you in the wrong league. If they care that much about a couple $100 in the situation that's going on right now, and you can't get to a conclusion over a $200 difference, $1,000 difference, a $5 difference, whatever it is, get yourself a different league. That's what I would say. Let's see. Chargers. Chargers. Yeah, Chargers. You think Chargers be playing for anything this week? Are they locked in their spot? I don't even know what the Chargers situation. Like I'm kind of, to be real, I'm kind of off my. I have been like consumed by this shit the last day or so.
Well, they're 10-6. Right now, they've clinched the wild card at this point. They're not going to win the division, obviously, with the Chiefs. But I don't think that they really have too much. I mean,
They're locked in their position, right?
Yeah, they're locked into the playoffs. I think
six.
they maybe move ahead of the Ravens because they have the same record. So if they win and the Ravens lose, they have that game up on them. So, I mean, really, it just all depends. I mean, to me, most of the time, these players will play at least into the third quarter in most of these games. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, even if they've already clinched.
Yeah, even if they've already clinched, most of the time they play into the third.
Yeah. We've agreed to run Monday night players next week, and they receive that many points. Fair enough. Fair enough, man. Uncle Ben said, just trying to change the subject from money. Thanks, y'all. Prayers for 3. Yeah, you got to throw the prayers up. And yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough because at the end of the day, like we can talk about this, and I feel like it put a dark cloud over like this fantasy stuff for us this week. But it's like I know we got to talk about it at some point. So it's good to get it out there, and it's good to talk about the money aspect. And we got to we all grieve in our own way and have to continue to proceed. But it's kind of an uncharted territory for at least for us. I know that. With taking the average for the player work though, like Jamar Chase, I don't think so. I don't think you can just put the average for the player on the season. If your league agrees with it though, I think it's not a bad move, but I don't think you can do that because the other person who might have the lead that's up by 16 might want to see the play out. I don't know. So it's a tough call on both. I think the fairest thing is to go by whatever the platform says. I think that's the fairest thing. It takes it out of your hand, takes it out of the league's hand. It takes it out of any, I have vested interest in seeing this happen, or I don't want this to happen. It takes all of that out the window and just goes by, here are the rules. This is finite. It played out. So whatever the platforms say, do that. And then when it comes to the money, shit, if there's a champion, you want to give them all the money, do it. If you guys determine to split it. I mean, there's no way, unless you're playing in a super high stakes league, which obviously there's somebody else manning that. Like, what are you splitting? Fantasy is fantasy. Like, most you're playing in is probably like a 10K league.
Yeah.
Or total for the whole pot. Like, that's the most you're playing for.
Yeah, absolutely. After this, I don't think I want to be commissioned in my league no more. People can just be cold for just a little money.
Bruh, it's crazy. It's crazy, dog. Like,
to me, like I said, just a little bit of money. You got other problems in your life. If you're worried about a couple $100, I mean, like I said, we advocate chop the pot, and then play it out. I say end it. Just end it based on whatever the platform gives you. I'm with you there.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day with the money, and it's like I get it. Like maybe some people were really counting on winning first place and getting that money, but it's like nothing was guaranteed to you on Saturday before the game started. You weren't guaranteed to win anything. Like, and if you were guaranteed, only thing you were guaranteed was first or second, whatever your league had. So, what's the big deal if you guys got to split it this week because of some shit that nobody saw coming? Like, are you that money hungry? Like, I get it. You might need the extra couple $100 you spent too much on the holidays, or that's how you pay like for your bills this month. Like, you were counting on it. But like, if you weren't in a clear position to win anyway, you were hoping and praying on Monday night. You were gambling anyway. So to me, those kind of questions, like if you're really concerned about the money or using the player projected totals, like to me it seems a little bit off because you should kind of know, like, all right, there was a good chance I was winning or a good chance I was losing, and if not, the other person should be like, all right, well, let's at least split it.
Yeah.
Do you do fantasy basketball? I don't know if we'll do fantasy basketball on this channel. Just to be real, I needed 8. We might do more dynasty stuff though, so be on the lookout for dynasty. I need 8 points from Burrow, and I would have won should it stand. See, that's an inside split because you don't know Joe Burrow was going to get 8 more points, right? He threw the touchdown, but we don't know what was going to happen the rest of that game. I don't want to say this, but imagine Joe Burrow, something happens. So I'm not going to put anything on him, but something happens to Joe Burrow and he cannot finish the game. What would you have done in that scenario? Like, you weren't guaranteed 8 more points from Joe Burrow. You weren't guaranteed anything that game.
Right.
So that's where I get with the split. It's like it shouldn't like, you should be okay. If it's close enough like that, that's a split in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just depends on what you have, where your points are, all that stuff. I think the ultimate move is just go with the platform, split the pot.
Yo, this comment actually, I want to talk about this real quick too. This one just came in and said, "Yo, is Damian Pierce a tryhard?" Right, and so that take, and after this experience, it's not. I normally don't. I don't apologize for much. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless I feel like I was truly in the wrong, and I don't feel like I was in the wrong talking about tryhard. I don't think any of us did when we talked about Damian Pierce being a tryhard. We're talking about it from a fantasy aspect. But I am going to do a little bit better job personally. I'm not speaking for you in this, Dan. I'll let you say what you have to say. But I'm going to do a little bit better job next season of talking about the players in a better light. For the most part, we're pretty good. Like, we don't call guys after they have bad performances. We're not calling guys chumps or saying they're trash. Like we did it with Mike Davis last year and Damian Pierce this year. We're pretty good about like not trashing every player. But I'm going to be a little bit more careful about that next year, just because. That human aspect, it makes me rethink how I'm talking about these players. And that's somewhere an area I think I can be a little bit better. Even though we're having fun in our eyes, I'm going to myself personally, I know it might be soft. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I'm going to be a little bit better about that.
I don't hate that at all. I mean, that's totally fine. I think the biggest thing is, like, again, in fantasy, there are booms and there are busts. There are safe players with floors. There's high potential ceilings. There's elite talent. And there's people that we just know, like, look,
Yeah.
this guy's not going to be good for your fantasy team. So it, at the end of the day, we want to be sensitive to players, and we respect every player that plays in the National Football League. But there are two things that can be right at the same time. One, we can have respect for those players, and we appreciate the hard work that they have put in throughout their entire career to get there.
Yeah.
And from a fantasy and an analyst perspective, we can also identify players that may not be well off for your fantasy team,
Yeah.
and we have to identify them somehow, right? And so, to me, I think there was a lot of things that are taken out of context with that take. But
Yes.
now, I still see it everywhere. So other people are saying it, and yet
Yeah.
they don't get the hate that my man Justin has got.
Yeah.
No reason. To me,
It's cool.
if I call somebody a bust, I told y'all Russell Gage was going to be
Yeah.
garbage, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that he himself is trash, because if I was a DB and he was the receiver, he would smoke me for 200 yards. Like, let's keep it real. I'm not going to match up with Russell
Yeah.
Gage. But do I identify that Mike Evans is a lord? Chris Godwin
Yeah.
is a lord,
Yeah.
and Fournette and Rashad White were going to have their ways. Like, how can Russell Gage be even a top 3 wide receiver for fantasy. It wasn't going to happen. So to me, unless there was injury, and of course
Yeah.
we don't think about
I
injury.
think where I'm at though is just instead of going and attacking the players, because I've had a history doing that, right? Of like attacking the player. Like I think I would be more apt to say like he's a fade or like somebody I'm not draft. I'm just gonna be crafting the message a little slightly differently than saying, you know, name calling. I don't think I'm gonna result. I think I'm gonna try to stay away from that next year. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see. I needed Burrow to outscore Allen by 4. We needed to do a split and do a Week 18 matchup for first. Hey, like I said, whatever y'all decide on, and it works for both parties, get it done. So, Dan, you got anything else to add, man? We can get up out of here, dog.
Yeah. Well, first of all, look. At the end of the day, we want my players healthy. We want everybody in the league healthy. We don't like injuries. We don't want to see. We want everybody their 100%, their best. There's a few things that like I'm thankful for. Thank you for those that have followed us throughout the last 2 years. We appreciate you guys. I appreciate you putting in the comments, DMs. If you liked, you shared, you told others about our content, or if you hit us and you were just selfish and you just wanted to win.
Or if you hate us and you fade us and you don't like our content, shout out to you too for rocking with us.
I like I said, we appreciate you guys a lot. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for watching. It's not the end for the Fantasy Gods, even though the season is damn near to an end. We have a lot more coming up. We have especially Dynasty is coming. I'm very big into Dynasty, so you guys are going to get a lot of that from me in the offseason, specifically around the combine area of fantasy. If you guys are in leagues, I strongly suggest you guys pick up a Dynasty league if you haven't already been in that. I've been in one for about 13 years, and it's been one of the funnest leagues that I've ever been in. Dynasty is something special. Redraft is obviously special, and it'll always have a special place in my heart. But Dynasty is really fun, and we will get you guys into that. Challenge us next year. We have leagues running, and I won the first year. Justin won the second year.
They can't beat us, dog.
I mean,
they can't beat us.
I'll try.
They can't beat us, man.
The gods, bro.
Next Tuesday I'm gonna be talking some shit.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday I'm gonna be talking some shit.
Yeah,
just know that. So.
Look, guys, you're more than welcome to join our leagues and challenge us. And we love the competition. We want to lose, really. Like, hey, come on, man. Come show us your knowledge out there. Let's see if you guys can really beat us. And it is yet to happen. Okay, the money stays on this side. The ships stay on this side. But like I said, we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Ready to rock and roll for 2023. 2023 is going to be epic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great season. And of course, go Bills. Like, we're going to win Super Bowl.
Hell no. Go Niners, baby. But yeah, on that note, guys, appreciate y'all for rocking with us. We'll be back next Tuesday to talk more. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask us in the comments. Other than that, it's been a wrap for this 2022 season. We're moving on to 2023, baby, Dynasty, and talking some shit. So we'll see you on the next side. Peace.
Peace.